Yeah, mic checker 1 1 1 1 2. Yeah, it's working. But yeah, I think I'm gonna add that button to my thing. Better get your mind right. Stay like that. It's gonna sound just like that. Better get your mind right.
Hey, what's so funny is I need to work on mine. I was just saying when I get some time, I'm probably gonna do it this afternoon. Um, Try and work on my little soundboard because I was like, yours be funny as a mug, dude. You made a little commercial the other day on that one song you was playing. I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be cracking if I put the sounds into the board.
Yeah, just put the sounds there. Like yesterday, I actually went through and I was organized. I don't know. I got to find space for my get your mind right. I got to find that button. That button going on.
You
That's
is. I'm done. I'm
on
done.
what? That ain't gonna be funny in the middle of somebody sitting there talking like, yeah, man. And I mean, all my life, bro, I just been down and I was trying to figure it out. Better get your mind right. People gonna be
Go
like,
ahead and record the sound. Go ahead and record the sound before you start. Hurry up because I want you to get it while it's hot. Do it.
what I'm ready for.
In the first place.
Oh man, we going crazy. Was that the defense? Was
Man,
that the defense that scored? Was that the defense? Book up, book up. That's the defense.
hold on. Let me get my. I can't. Let me do it
Who
right
did
here.
it? Who did it
I know
though?
y'all watching.
Oh, Roquan Smith. Let's go. CBS 58. Chicago Bears, Jacksonville game. Shout out to the Chicago Bears, baby. No, I gotta get my shout out to the Chicago Bears, baby. Go on him.
You so disrespectful.
I'm so disrespectful.
So,
It's time for tea time.
Nope, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I'm sorry.
Time for tea time.
All about my peso, my fantasy, my lane. Treat the plane like a jet. Apple Watch on me, I rock it like it's a protect. What you expect? I'm the elect. It come with respect.
What it do? What it do? What it do? You are rocking the Tea Time podcast where you talk topics with tea. I am your host, Royalty, in the place to be. Put that on the. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You already know what it is, though. We are live on what I would like to call my favorite day of the week. I say it every week because I need people to understand what it is. It's my favorite day of the week. And I don't even have to let you know no more about that, but let you know that it is
Selfcare Sunday.
One day I'll be on top of the world. Yeah, that's just how I feel right now. It feels good. Yeah. It feels good. Yeah. It feels good.
that's what making plays feels like. It feels good. It feels like winning. This is Classic Talks Podcast, where we subscribe to a next play mentality, one conversation at a time. I am Dr. Classic. Let's talk about it. I am Dr. Classic, and you know I'm here to talk about it. What's happening?
Let's talk about nothing much. How you doing?
I am great. It is Sunday, Self-Care Sunday.
Selfcare Sunday.
That's what's happening. That's what's happening. The vibe is definitely here. The vibe is definitely here. And I'm sorry, let me get excited real quick. Let's go, Chicago, baby! Better get your mind right. Yeah. I'm sorry, we just scored. We just scored.
We can record this
We
during
just
the Packer game. We can record this during the Packer game, though. I don't mind it. You know, I don't mind it. The TV right here, we can record it during the Packer game.
Go.
So listen.
How your intro go? It feels good.
You couldn't be petty on Sundays. That's not what they said, did they? They just said self-care. Sometimes being petty is self-care, Hunter.
It's Sunday, y'all. And I hope y'all in the right place, and that's with us on this day.
So,
This is a nice episode that we actually capturing this week. It's the week before the end of the year.
It's the last one.
And they always say how that saying go? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Ain't that how it go? People better understand you got 1 week left to prepare yourself for the next year.
Yeah, rolling.
You know what I mean? Don't wait till the next year to get started on what it is that you want to call a resolution. You know what I'm saying? You can get started on that thing now. You know what I'm saying? And some people ain't taking advantage of capitalizing on that because they're getting too ready to party. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the celebration and the partying, but you better make sure you know what you're celebrating and partying for. Because don't act like you had too much this year to celebrate and party for. You know what I'm saying? But there are some things that you can celebrate and party for if you mentally better get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I had to slide.
You know what? And it's okay to celebrate because I want to tell you, celebrate big wins and ending the year out strong. That's a celebration. Like to me, some of this what we doing already is a celebration that we able to have a year in. So celebrate, but be ready for tomorrow. So the only 2 times I always say we can impact is we can impact right now, how we prepare for something and then how we respond to something. So I'm thinking if we know it's coming, let's prepare as much as possible. So when it's time for us to respond, it's something we were prepared for, period. So I'm with it. Let's celebrate, but celebrate with some intentions of let's get ahead. 2020 was rough. How we gonna go into 2021?
Come on now. And that kind of rolls into what I kind of wanted to touch base on today. You know what I mean? It is, you know what I'm saying?
Self-Care Sunday.
And it's all about getting yourself together. And that's how people should start to look when they moving into the new year. You know what I'm saying? First we could let's actually start by talking about resolution, because I know but when we first started here you had some points that you wanted to hit there, so I'm gonna let you start off there and I'm gonna piggyback off you, but let's actually give what it means to have a resolution, or what is a resolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, and that's a big deal. So sometimes what we do is we mimic what we think somebody else does. Like it's been such a tradition to have resolution, but really resolution, when you think about it, it's like a firm decision to do something. You are going to resolute to, however, you are going to make something happen because you make a decision to do it. So in my mind, there are things that when we set resolutions at the beginning of the year, we're saying that that's what we're going to work on and that's our commitment. We're going to commit to getting this done. And
It's time for tea time.
Right. So some of the things that happen for us, because it's such a tradition and we just fall into that, I'm moving through the process, I'm just going through the motion. We really don't prep ourselves for being successful to meet some of these resolutions. And I like to talk to people about how they don't let it fall. Like we don't need to fail at resolutions. They are some things that we can do well. And you know me, like I'm setting my resolutions, but I set my goals. And they can be one and the same when you're talking to me in my conversation. But when I get ready to set them, how can I really put myself in a successful place to meet some of these goals? Like, you're a big gym person. The number one resolution for years has been, I'm gonna get a gym membership and I'm gonna be working out. Gym staying rich, but we also staying overweight. We are also we're the most obese adult cohort in this nation's history.
So it's almost like finding out the beginning to what your resolution is, what your real problem is. It's not the gym.
And remembering your plate got to be able to fit it. You can't say I'm gonna go to the gym every day, but you don't stop going to sleep late. You know what I mean? So you tired, you don't stop eating, you don't eat differently. Your water intake don't change. Right. You got to be able to you got to schedule, you got to put your plate together and make it make sense so that you can be successful at it. Put goals towards the smaller pieces versus the overall large goal to just lose weight.
And that's kind of the same point that I was looking at it from. Like when people set these resolutions, set realistic resolutions. Treat your resolution like goals. You know what I mean? When you treat goals, you make realistic goals. Make a realistic resolution and stop thinking that a resolution has to be one yearly thing. You know what I mean? Your resolution can reside in a short thing. By March, I want to be at such and such and such and such. You know what I mean? Like your new year does not have to fall in place with the world's new year. You know what I mean? Create your own new year. Because one thing me and Toon speak about all the time is, why are we considering January 1st to even be the new year? You know what I mean? When you speak about a new year or you think about something new, it's because what? The old dies out. You know what I mean? So when things get cold, like the weather right now where we at, you know what I mean? It gets cold, everything is dying. There are no leaves on the trees or nothing. There's still life in it, but the beauty of it is gone. You know what I mean? So the new year actually should be looked at in the spring. This is when things start to come back to life. You know what I mean? You start to see the color again. You start to feel the warm again. You know what I mean? That energy that you're supposed to get. So you should actually be preparing yourself for that. Your resolution should reside for when the springtime is coming, where you want to be, because this is when you're going to start to be able to get out and do more and see more and be more active in whatever the goal or thing is that you want to do.
Let me challenge your thinking on that because I agree with you. I think that let me give you this. So we got to look at time as a means to create structure. So the new year starting in January, we're structured that way as a people. That has been our everyday please. So to tell somebody to not think that way, it could be unrealistic for them to not think
Right.
that way. But I do mess with the fact that there are going to be seasons that we are going to have power movement. So if we know spring is our power time, then if we think about time, let's break it down to quarters. Q1, the first 3 months. So your power time is Q2. That's where you put your work and your grind at. So we
Right.
just teach people how to put things into a structure that makes sense because the time is okay. Like it's starting January 1 and starting over. It's a perfect time. You come out of the most sincere season of the year. Holidays just finished. And traditionally, besides 2020, people got together and they may be rejuvenated. And then, you and I are in education, so that may be the lowest time for some people because of just how their life is structured. But all in all, it's a good place to reset and say, I want to be done. Like, whew, let me be done with that time. And how can I look forward to new planning? So the structure of it is for you, let's place our power movements in Q2 or in the spring when the sun's starting to come out, my body's starting just coming out of hibernation. I did my resting, I did my learning, I did my thinking. I put some plans and stuff together so we can look at for you. This is that time where now we need to put all our plans together and create those goals or AKA resolutions we're trying to work
on. And by you do it a lot of the talking that you're doing is like a lot about self. You know what I mean? We're not doing a lot of talking about business goals or anything. It's more about internal. You know what I mean? Internal goals and resolution, which is the perfect time for us to bring in our Sunday prop, our new Sunday guest. His name is Echo. You know what I mean? The elephant, and we bring an Echo to the show because we want to always make sure that we're addressing the problem in the room.
Yeah.
We're always addressing the main issue in the room. And a broad statement for that is, hey, let's address the elephant in the room. And that's where Echo comes in. And the main reason why I chose to name him Echo is because when you think about Echo, you think about an area. You know what I mean? And it's a sound that gives off a continuing ambience. You know what I mean? So that's a message. So that's the purpose of Echo. You know what I mean? Because when we're addressing the problem in the room, we're addressing the elephant in the room. This is a message that we're trying to get across to a broad audience. We want this message to echo across radio wave forms, across YouTube links, social media and everything. You know what I mean? So that's the purpose. You know what I mean? For Echo the elephant. You know what I mean? Because self-care is all about getting it out. So let's spread the word, you know what I mean, through Echo, and let's make sure that we're addressing the elephant in the room at all times. And when you speak about resolution, that only goes into correction.
Okay.
Your resolution has to reside behind the correction that you see in yourself. You have to take accountability and be honest with yourself and say, what wrong things could I correct about myself next year that I did this year? Because this year we were able to sit back and do a lot of reflection on ourselves. We had a lot of time to sit, think, and just analyze not only ourselves, but our environment, our surroundings, the people that we have around us, the things that we are bringing into our life, the things that we're allowing around our children. We had a lot of time this year to see that. That's what 2020 was all about, vision. You were able to look and see yourself. You know what I mean? So now that the year is wrapping up and you're going into 2021, you need to understand the things that you need to correct in order to be better. You know what I mean? The same thing goes with these decades and these centuries. Everything can be broken down into quarters. You know what I mean? Now that you're not, this could be halftime. 2020 could be halftime for somebody. Everybody's not playing the same game. You know what I mean? Things go Central, Eastern, Pacific time. You know what I mean? So some people might not be where some people were at, but this could be halftime for somebody. And that second quarter was just rough for you from the years of 2012 to 2020. Anything, that's your second quarter. That could have been rough for you. So now you need to understand the correction in your life and how to come back in your third quarter, which could be 2021 to 2030, and build and get yourself together. You know what I mean? You gotta better get your mind right. You know what I mean? If you're really trying to elevate in life, you know what I mean? You really got to sit back and look and see what a resolution is. You really need to sit back and have the ability to correct yourself. A lot of people don't got that. A lot of people can't take criticism. A lot of people can't take judgment, even if it's coming from themselves, because we all want to look at ourselves as being so wholesome and perfect, but we're not there yet.
Yep.
Keep it classic. You knew that.
Be you, boo. We need to see you be you. You ain't wrong. It's Sunday. You gone, spread the word.
You know.
Go preach it, brother.
But I'm real, and that was the thing that it came, because I know, man, we dive into these conversations. So I was like, that's what I really wanted to touch base on to talk about today, because I sit around a lot of people, and me alone, I let them know about issues that I see that they have, and people don't correct them.
Yeah.
And what it comes from is because we take everything, well, not we, but most people take everything in and they take it as harm, like somebody means harm to them. A lot of people don't mean harm, but when you really want to break down the terminology of friendship and family and stuff, like, you know what I mean, these close companions and these close relationships that you gain in life, you have to understand, are you learning from them?
Yeah, I think what happens too, and I love where this conversation is gonna go. We have to meet people at the level that they're at. So being a coach, and that is part of the art to me, and there is a complete art behind coaching sometimes, but certain things people aren't ready for. Sometimes we can see it in each other. We see it in our family. We see it in our friends. There are things that people tell me that they can just see in me. Like I vibrate that off. That's what you give off. But a lot of times, if people haven't held that mirror up, that correction is a long way away, because you first have to identify that there was at first a problem. And a lot of that, when we think of like goal setting and resolutions, a lot of reason why we fail at not making them is because we didn't correct something that needed to stay behind. We got to sacrifice certain characteristics about ourselves. We got to sacrifice certain movements, how we move through things. We got to sacrifice how we are narrow-minded or look at certain things. How judgmental are we sometimes? Like, we have to sacrifice some of that stuff to be able to look at us and correct something that's wrong with us. We are really truly seeing the world how we are. So the correction becomes very hard.
Very hard.
That lens.
Yep. And that's what I get to when a lot of people are complaining about 2020. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, we all got something to complain about in this year. You know what I mean? But when we connect, we don't complain. There's nothing to complain about, because all we see is growth. So we seize the moment of every opportunity that we run into, and we see growth in it, because this is the lens that we're looking out of now. You know what I mean? When you're looking out of a lens of, I don't know what I'm going to do next month. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. When you're looking through that lens, your life is going to feel like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
You got to get up and do something. Better get your mind right. Come on now. You got to make something happen for yourself. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is by having correction. You have to be willing to correct yourself. You have to be willing to correct your actions. You have to be able to put your pride to the side, humble up, and be able to look at somebody that you might have wronged and be able to apologize, because you really understand that you did wrong. You need to look in your life and not blame the manager for firing you, but actually look at the actions that you did and correct that, so that it doesn't happen at the next job that you get. This is what people don't want to do. We always want to place blame on everything and everybody else, instead of taking that initial blame for ourselves. Maybe you said something wrong. Maybe you moved a certain way. Maybe you did, you know what I mean? Really, LOVE, logically overview everything, and really pay attention and see if it's really something that you can do better as a person, because you can't make initial change in something or somebody else. They only can do it for themselves. You got to do it.
You got to do it. What I will add to that too is it's intentional work. Like you got to be ready and wanting to be that person. Like that people think that you're going to wake up, you don't wake up different. You intentionally work on something over time. This is an incremental game. This is supposed to be a journey for us. It's not really a sprint. There are going to be some things that we are quick to understand and move past, but overall, it's ultimately a long journey, and we incrementally have to get better. And that's intentionally changing how we look at things, how we act, how we feel about something. It can't be, oh, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be a better guy, and you do nothing intentional to be that better guy. One thing I wanted to say, and I love this saying: we are responsible for our success as a person, and we are responsible for our failures as a person. The people that didn't make it don't claim that.
Hold
But
up.
the people that did.
Say that again. Spread that message. Say that again. Say that. We responsible. Come on now.
Listen.
Self-Care Sunday.
Listen.
I want us all to get to it. So we got to take accountability for both sides of the fence. We have shortcomings at the end of the day. Shortcomings are there. We have things we have to work on. We have small, things that over time, if we intentionally work on them, we can be better people. We just have to be very willing to identify what those are. Be willing to hear how we can make a change, how you treat somebody, how when you're offended, be vulnerable. And I think we can get to a really good place. What you're talking about is people just being intentional about being better, 1% better all the time.
Right. And actually committing to it.
Yeah.
I can't look at you and say, I want to be more honest as a person and expect to be more honest as a person.
Okay.
No, it just goes from even the little things. You know what I mean? Some people, like my mom used to always say growing up, like, you practice lying. Some people just practice lying. You know what I mean? Like, hey, bro, do you think you got an ink pen? Nope. But didn't even take the time to look. That's lying. You don't even know if you got one. You know what I mean? Like, that's what she mean by practice lying. Or you come through and you just make up stories like, bro, can you believe that it's snowing outside just so you can go made you look? That's called practice lying, because the more you do that, the better you get at just lying. But just start to just be more honest about any and everything. You know what I mean? Even to your kids, to yourself, just be more honest. You have to put the work behind the action that you want. You have to put the work behind the person that you want to become. It's not easy.
And then thinking about Self-Care Sundays, that has to become a belief, because your actions are based off of what you believe. So if you believe and feel a certain way about being, dishonest, not truthful, when you start to believe and feel a certain way, it's going to make you move differently. Now you got to second guess yourself or go back and say, you know what, I didn't, that's not what I meant to tell you. What I mean to say is this, but that's because your belief changed. Your belief is going to dictate your actions every day of the week. You talked about it when somebody said they rather have the physical over the mental. If your mental ain't there, you can't physically get to it.
You can't physically get to it. And that's one thing that you can just sit up and you can tell yourself, like I said, in the mornings. That's why some people can't get up and go to the gym in the mornings.
Yeah.
It's not a mental block, it's a physical block. Because mentally you are prepared. You told yourself the night before you was going, you even laid your clothes and everything out. But because your body is not on the same accord with your mind, it's like, hit the snooze button. You got 5 more minutes. You know what I mean? And you're allowing your physical to overpower your mental. You know what I mean? And that's not what you want. You want full control of your mentality.
You know what? I think it's all mental. I think if you got to the gym and then you couldn't perform, that might be physical.
Right.
But mental made you lay there for a little longer. Mental put that fear tweak behind you, like, well, or mental told you was tired.
So
you get another hour, girl. You could try this tomorrow. Like, that's mental for me.
My thing is this. I look at it as physical, because what some people don't understand is the body communicates. Okay. It doesn't. Communication is more than just verbal. You know what I mean? So your body communicates. And if your mind is saying, let's go, but your legs are saying, not today, you're giving more power to the physical to stop that.
Okay. So let me try it with food.
Uh-oh.
Let me try it with food. Sometimes I can get it when I switch it over to something else. Okay, food. I don't need a piece of cake. So, it was just Christmas. I didn't need as much sweets as I just ate. Listen, I got to be in them. I got to do 2 a mornings, not even 2 a days. I got to do 2 a mornings. So with all of the sweets I just took in, right? I really didn't need them. I didn't need them at all. My
Right.
mind made me be like, you can work out twice. You can like it was my mind that it was nothing about my physical. So I'd be feeling like your mind is that's where the decision is made. Your body responds is how I feel. I feel like if you completely lose all
Wait,
your
wait. Say that again. How you feel? Your body what?
I feel like your mind makes the first decision and then your body responds. So if your
Still
first
a form
decision,
of communication, right?
I'm with you 100% that your body is a man, it's the brain. Listen, I know just the nerve system in your body, but it's all connected to it's comes back here. This is home base.
So then let's
Oh,
back up to where you said the need. You know what I mean? It's not something that you need, but it's something that you want.
right.
And your body feeds off of what you want. Your
Oh,
mind feeds off what you need. So just because your mind is telling you no, I don't need it, somehow you still found a way in the kitchen and got that piece of cake.
I'm with you. I guess that's a
And
good
even I'm sorry, and even while you eating it, your mind like, I don't need this. But you just keep eating it. You see how your physical took over?
I think that's why I said it's the response.
Right.
But your mind let it go to okay, I'm gonna stay laying in the bed, or okay, I'm gonna go eat that cake. Okay, I'm gonna get up. Let me go.
Look,
Hold on.
right.
Let me
Now,
go grab the
we
pie.
can take a brief and let me get this cake.
Put on an ad or a commercial. That's just what it is. So
and,
that's a good
and
way for me to think about it, though. I do.
right.
Everybody is serious about it. It do that fear, flight, or fright. Like I think that stimuli and everything. You're right. It's a lot of things that probably are powered and structured directly through your body to your
And
mind. So,
and it all rolls into the correction. See, we're at points in our lives where we are able to sit back and do that correction.
yeah.
All the way down to the needs and the wants. Like I know I want it, but do I need it? And we corrected ourselves to let our minds have more control over anything, whether it's our physical responding or not. We got enough control to where me and you have our conversations on. We're gonna get up. We working out. We doing this. We doing that. This right here. This could be a mental or a physical thing. You know what I mean? Because I don't have to come and sit in the studio and go live, and I can tell you whatever. You're not here to know what I'm doing.
Right,
But
right.
mentally, I love to do this. So I correct myself on what I need to do so I can be here. You know what I mean?
Okay. Then we both right.
Yeah, that's what I said. There, five, you hear me? 5 plus 4 is what?
9.
6 plus 3 is what?
9.
We got the same answer.
Yeah.
But we just figured it out through different ways. That's what you got to love about correction. That's why nobody can ever tell you how to be you. And that's what you have to understand. That's where your correction and your accountability comes in, because you have to hold yourself accountable more than anybody. If you allow somebody else to try to put correction in you, you still won't be who you want to be. You have to do it.
Do it. Yeah, because you won't buy into it. It got to be something that you agree to wholeheartedly and want to do it, man. It's fun to want to be better. It's fun to want to. It's not
Come
like
on now.
I don't want you to sound like you on punishment. Come to the principal's office because this is where I'm kicking it now. Now I'm living life and I'm wanting to get to it and having fun. There are some rough days, like per usual, when things just happen. It's all I run into pit holes. I talked to you about it. I wasted 3 hours editing something I didn't even never get out. 3 hours. I spent so much time on it and I never got it out. So there are days where I'm like, man, I'm out of there. All the lights go off. Boom. I'm sitting somewhere else in the house for a second. I need a break. But
Right.
in time, it's something that when I overcome it, man, that is like, whoo, I got to another leg. I really got it out. It's just now it's the process and I'm appreciating it. And I love it actually.
Right. And that's one thing I wanted to you're seeing that, but you were able to learn that through this year. You know what I mean? We both kind of took off with this year. You know what I mean? So now you were able to you created a learning experience out of things that were going on through you this year. And that's that 2020 vision that I'm speaking on. You know what I mean? Like that was my biggest thing when we were rolling into this year. I'm like, dude, it's the year of 2020. You know what I mean? Whenever you think 2020, I don't know if it's from wearing glasses all my life or what, but it's like you think 2020, the first thing I hear is vision. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, it's gonna be something we gotta see in this year.
And let's take it a year back for us as podcasters. 100%. This year was a monumental growth. As I look back, 2020 was everything for me. I'm so glad that this platform exists because this platform is going to get this message to exactly where it needs to go.
Exactly.
I'm a fan of the platform, but take it back a notch. Like this year allowed me to understand all of the correction I've had to make in my life to stand where I stand as a woman first, where I stand as a parent, a partner, a friend, a business partner, you know what I mean? A businesswoman, like a coach, like there has been some glory in people's life. There has been some tragedy, man. This trial and tribulation has come full circle. And just for this year to be one that was positive when I seen so much tragedy across this year, positive for me, it's a blessing, man. I talked about it the other day. I always count my blessings on this one. Like it could have been so much different for me. I just made one of the biggest moves in my life 2 years ago. If I would have just, blinked or said, I'm going to do it next quarter. I'm gonna wait and stack some money for 1 year, like I could have been stuck in a place that it would, the story would not have been the same for me. So I got to be realistic about that. And I've worked hard my entire life. I feel like I've worked very hard, like coming up, being an athlete in college, going to college, on an athletic scholarship. I'm always working, trying to grind. Like that put structure in my life, chasing education, because the tables I thought I wanted to go have a seat at, now I'm going to build my own table. But the tables I did think I wanted to have a seat at, I'm trying to chase education all the way up to a doctorate. Like there's a lot of things that this year has made me turn around and say, hey,
Better get your mind right.
You did a good job, man. What is it?
Keep it classic.
Yes, Dr. Classic. That's what it is.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it just opened up because I actually had a segment yesterday and that conversation came out like, when did you start your podcast? And I'm like, well, I initially started it over a year ago.
Yeah.
But 2020 elevated me to a whole nother level with it. And it also put the passion for it back inside of me. You know what I mean? Like the vision that I had when I first started it, 2020 actually put it into perspective. Like I can see everything so much clearer now with it. You know what I mean? That I know what I have to do next year. You know what I mean? And that's this week. That's why I'm glad for this segment this week, because this is something that people need to hear. You know what I mean? I took the time this year to do these things, to sit back and correct myself. You know what I mean? And this is the things that you do when you're creating these vision boards, or, you know what I mean? I started doing more note taking this year, like just putting my thoughts more on paper. You know what I mean? And I seen how this stuff took me to another level. And it's seeing other people see how it took me to another level. This is all in the power of correction. You know what I mean? Like,
don't skip past that. One of the first steps, because we want to be technical and give you things to take away with as a listener. Writing your vision out is the first step to whatever you're going to accomplish. Write your vision out, put it on paper, put it out on notes, put it on your MacBook.
Get that message out there, right?
You got to write it down. You got to be able to see it, man. I've already, like, Terrence, you've seen it. We were supposed to share them. We'll share them on the next episode.
Right.
My vision board is done. One, I got to add a couple little bells and whistles to make sure proper that way. My goals and stuff is up there, boss.
Right.
So let's just get to whatever it's gonna be, because I want to, every time I look up past this camera, I want to look at that was the goal, and I want to put my head back down. You know what I mean? Like I want to look up and know what I'm working on, because that's when you are not just aimlessly just like shooting darts. You ain't just shooting. Well, I hope not if you playing them, unless you're just recreationally doing it. Those are hobbies. We talking about trying to get to life, trying to be you. Man, you're trying to aim at something, and if you can look up and know what you're working on, then you look down and say, is this going in the same direction? You start to align some things for yourself, and that's powerful for me. So you hit it right on the head. Get it out. Write that vision out.
Right, and that was one thing. So we got Toon sitting in the building, and that was one thing that, as we get older, we don't understand the appreciation for a lot of things that we receive. And that was one of the things that I actually gifted to Toon. You know what I mean? It was a binder, it was a notebook, you know what I mean? Some dividers, everything, like some professional stuff, you know what I mean? And this is more so like one of my things where I'm like, yeah, man, start writing down your ideas and start putting this stuff out here, because once you start to live a life, like I always tell people with manifestation, it's all about the experience. You have to experience. It's not just about thinking it. You have to experience it too in order to bring it to life. And if you're not willing to reach that hand out and help somebody, then what are you willing to really provide them in their life? And that's one of the things that it was. Like you can give somebody a million things, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna give you these tools and let me see you put them to work. You know what I mean? Because now this could be the start. This could be the start of his correction. I might not know that, but this could be the start of his correction, because you could take that stuff and do so much more with it. It might not be the vision I got for you to do with it, but you might take it and do more. Or you never know what those tools mean to somebody.
And two, I know you listening in, and you don't run past another good point. If everybody is doing what they really love, we can help service each other. Like just like you put a pad in his hand and vision this out, write this out, do this with it. Tune brings in the marketing aspect for what we got going on. So now we are working in our craft, loving your passion, but I'm giving you the things that I learned to know, you giving them to me, and you just continue to build on that. Like self-care too is about, you don't have to fit in anywhere. You be yourself authentically, unapologetically, and then what you're receiving from the people who are doing the same, that's where the value is to me. We spend our time, we don't exchange value for money. We exchange, excuse me, I'm saying exchange time for money. We exchange value for money. We spend the time creating something valuable. That's what this is.
And that be one of the major points that I tell people: treat your time like your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How are you spending your time? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's important. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I don't know, I probably do it too much, but I always look at Tune and I always tell him I appreciate you for helping out so much. You know what I mean? Because being in the position that we are in now, we understand how busy it can be, and you can understand why there are chains and cabinets of different people, because this person needs help, and then this person gonna need help, and then this person gonna need help, because that's just how big the networking becomes. So for Tune to even accept and be able to step forward and just give that hand without even kind of trying to come with like some type of agreement or thinking to get something out of it, because the most important thing that he always say that he gets out of it is actually being able to be a part of something good. You know what I mean? Actually being able to play a role in something positive. You know what I mean? It's not just doing something. Anybody can come up to you and toss you something to say, sell this, or I need you to do this hard labor or this work. Nope. We just want you to help us capitalize off all the tools that are given to us. But we're not able to do it the way you'll be able to do it, because we got so much other stuff that we have to do, like this content. We gotta keep this content going. You know what I mean? And this perfect time to say this. Not only we're keeping the content going, we gotta spread the message of the content that we're bringing out there. You know what I mean? Shouts out to the homie Echo the Elefante. That's what
He's helped spread the message. The
gotta
mission
spread the message.
is the mission. We're gonna get this to where it gotta go.
Yeah,
I'll be a part of it.
Yeah, I know. I can't look forward to some of the big things that we talking about doing in 2021. We got to sit down and still, jot all our ideas and everything out. But I know we gonna bring some new stuff coming, and there's some ideas that I want to bounce back and forth with you too, because it's some things that I see that you're doing that I want you to start to get more involved in. And even if it's that little time that you have in between, you know what I mean? We always looking to elevate. It's all about growth. It's all about elevation. So, as I learn it and I find it out and I figure it out, I always be like, hey, yo, dig this. You know what I'm saying? We doing this and boom, boom, boom. And then sometimes, I don't have a problem with it. I just pitch it and I try to help out, because I know you got other things going on that you do. So when I do my videos and things like that, I always kind of put your shout out up there and boom, boom, boom. So that way, as I'm spreading my name, I'm making sure I spread yours too. You know what I mean? It's all in the power of support and coming together. You know what I mean?
Sundays, and hopefully we can have a good conversation about how to have healthy relationships, because that's what I feel like it all come down to. Like, you got to put really clean, healthy relationships in your life, because they elevate you to new places. They challenge you. They expect you to be greater, better. They expect you to be a listening board and somebody who's gonna tell them like, yeah, nah, you wrong, bro. I think you need to rethink that. So yeah, we all on the same page, and it's all good. We're gonna come through.
And with 2020, it was like that reset button.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were forced to stay away from people. Yeah, we were able to have that phone conversation, but the vibe and the connection started to be broken because we had to stay separated. So now this is your time to say, okay, what people do I need to be around versus what people I want to be around? And the people that you choose to be around, the ones that you choose not to be around, if they're not mature enough to understand the reason and why, you know what I mean? Your journey, your mission, that you on the 5+4 and they on the 6+3. then that means they're just not good for you. They're not supposed to be around you, because you shouldn't be around anybody that doesn't support your journey, but they hinder it.
And that's right on message. Honestly, part of your visioning for your 2021 goals have to be who is going to be along the ride. Like, people are a part of the sacrifice. I know that people think that, I got to figure out how to do it with them. And I'm not talking about just relationships. They can be friends. I'm not just talking about, your significant other. It could be a friend. It could be somebody that you frequent with often. It's just things that we have to make sure we know that not everybody is going to be for the mission. But because the mission is the mission, you got to figure out who needs to not make this trip this time. Because if it's already going to be a failure on your part because you can't control the relationship and how it impacts your journey, it might not be the thing. So we have to be realistic when we're really setting goals, what people can go along on it. And sometimes it's just breaks. I need to take a break or a rest period from certain environments, certain people, certain things, so that I can get more done. I can really be commit to the resolutions and goals I have for this year.
True story. You know what I need you to go ahead and lace me with. It's time to pick up that dial and let them know who that audience call was for.
You know what? And thank you much for a spectacular conversation per usual. We're looking for people who are really trying to, get that pregame started. They're trying to start thinking about what's going to happen next today. When they're going to think about what is the next play to make. Like, we're looking for an audience who wants to understand how, even if we're setting goals, resolutions, how they really can catapult us to that next level, or how they can stun us where exactly where we stand and make us see more failure and think that it's not possible. We need for people to have an understanding on where they lie and how being them is going to get them to the next level ultimately. So we're looking for listeners just like you, whoever it is that is trying to come over, make more plays, understand that the only limit is you. Be true to yourself, and per usual, let's talk about it.
To get that message spread, you know what I mean? We're going to give a good shout out to our friend Echo, who came in the building. Going to be in the building every Sunday night with us. As always, I love sitting in on Sundays. We also do other little, off the thing that we, keeping the connection. We stay built up, but I love doing these sessions on Sundays where we really get the vibe. And it's crazy how we can hide this content from each other throughout the week and not speak on it when we link up. You know what I mean? But this is what conversation does. If you take the time, keep it. Give me that button. Give me that button.
Keep it classic.
If you keep it classic with the people that surround you, you know what I'm saying, and y'all actually take the time to conversate, you'll be surprised at the things that you can unlock in the mind, the ideas that you have, and what seeds you can actually plant that can start to grow. So actually, the people you're around, it doesn't even have to be us. The people that you choose to be around, just have the conversations with them. Stop gossiping and have real life conversations that can actually push you and those people around you forward.
Pastor Royalty, Self-Care Sunday.
You knew that.
Self-Care Sunday.
As always, we like to thank you for rocking with the T-Time podcast. And thanks to our good friends over at Classic Talks Podcast, wanting to know what is your next play. We would like to leave you with the acronym. That's peace. Positive energy always creates elevation. Peace, love, prosperity. And until next time. Wrong button. Out. Booyah.
Woo, that was a good